Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of Jamdani Weaves. And today, I'm delighted to welcome Gaurang Shah, who needs absolutely no introduction because he's uh, the most experimental designer in the space of Jamdanis in India today. Very warm welcome to you, Gaurang.
Thank you very much.
So today we're going to take the conversation which has so far dealt with the history of muslins, the origin of Jamdanis, the efforts in Bangladesh, and thereafter West Bengal. So we've looked at it through a very Bengal lens so far. And now we're going to open up the conversation to the rest of India because the most interesting part about Jamdani in India today is that large number of states in India are actually experimenting with the extra weft Jamdani technique in their own unique and inimitable styles. So Gaurang has a very, very close, let's say, ringside view of all of these efforts throughout the length and breadth of the country. And so he's going to talk to us today about all of these different Jamdani clusters in the country. So Gaurang, please give us a geographical overview at the first instance of where in India today Jamdani work is being done and in what form.
So Jamdani generally is an extra weft, which forms the design. So the weaver has a reference of a design paper. In Jacquard, you have a machine which does the weaving totally. It lifts the warp, the weft, and puts the design there. Here, we have a design reference, a design drawn on a paper. It can be of any length, which either is put underneath the warp to help the weaver in weaving, or the design is drawn on a graph paper. The weaver counts the graph and does the put the extra web, which happens as Jamdani. So let's start from the north. It is Kashmir. Kani weaving is nothing but Jamdani. It is, you are taking a needle, it's embroidery on the loom. It's basically a Parsi gara happening on the loom. And basically in Jamdani, we have the warp, we have the weft, and we have the extra weft which forms the Jamdani. But there are few places where we have only the warp and the extra weft. The extra weft forms the design as well as the base of the fabric. So Kashmir is one of them. Like Kashmir, people say it is a tapestry form of weaving. It cannot be Jamdani because there is only extra weft and there is no weft. So there are arguments that it is not Jamdani. But for me, the way they weave it, it is one of the most finest forms of Jamdani, the most intricate form of Jamdani. That's the beauty of a Jamdani sari. Every half a centimeter or every inch can be a different design. It can take in any kind of yarn in the design. It can take any kind of color in the design. In Jacquard, a design is drawn in maximum 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches graph, which is kept on repeating all over the sari. And the same thread which forms the design is repeated. Like if you are using gold zari, then the same gold zari has to repeat all over the sari. Whereas in Jamdani, the design, there is no design limitation. There is no limitation of variations of yarn coming in. One flower can have 10 different yarns used as 10 different petals. Then coming from Kashmir, you come to Rajasthan. Rajasthan uses a small machine which helps in lifting the yarn. In the video, you will see the warp is lifted, the design is put into the machine, and the warp is lifted, and then the tilli extra weft, the tilli is put, which is the Jamdani. So in Kota, before they used to take up a graph size of about 10 inches by 10 inches, and then that used to be repeated. Slowly over the times, I have made my weaver use the graph size of about 40 inches by 20 inches. So the repetitions are less, and the sari, it looks like as if every 20 inches there is a like the design is drawn in such a way that you will not find a repetition. And from Kota you come down to the next state will be Maharashtra, Pathan. Like Kashmir, here also we don't have weft. We have only the warp and we have only the extra weft here. So this is also one form of the most intricate Jamdanis happening in India. So we have a silk warp. Your weft can be zari. Generally, if you see, when we have a warp and we have a weft and the extra weft, the color of the warp and weft eats away the extra weft color. Suppose your warp is white, your weft is white, and you want a red flower. Your flower, when you put the red tilli, it becomes a light red, a pink color. because those two whites are eating away that red. Whereas in Kashmir and in Pathan, if you have a red warp and if you have a zari as your extra weft in the base and you have a red flower, your red is intensified. Here you will have the solid red coming, or you will have a red into, you can make a yellow weft, extra weft, which will be the red into yellow short color. So your weft is not coming between the warp and the extra weft, since there is no weft at all. The color intensity is here. But this is a much more laborious process. It takes almost double the time to weave than a regular Jamdani sari, which has a warp, weft, and an extra weft. From Pathan, we come to Andhra Pradesh, where we have 3 centers which use Jamdani technique as their main weave technique. One is Upada, one is Srikakulam, and the third is Venkatgiri. 3 different forms, 3 different textures using the base fabrics. I started my career with Upada in 2001. Upada basically was used to be woven in mercerized cotton by silk, or a cotton by cotton, or a cotton by tussar. I got them into weaving into silk by silk, silk by tussar. I introduced their 3 shuttle looms, where I have the body in one color and the border in separate colors. Since I wanted to play, as you know, I like to have dramas in my saris. I like to have some different elements. So I wanted to have those huge contrast borders in Upada with Jamdani. So Upada has a jala tied in front of them, which helps in lifting the warp. And they put the extra weft, the tilli. So we have again here the warp, the weft, and the extra weft, which is the design. And here we give a graph size, say about 40 inches by 40 inches I can give. And the design has to be double than what will be actually woven on the sari. Suppose a flower you want on the sari is about 2 inches by 2 inches. The graph size as given is 4 inches by 4 inches. So accordingly, the jala is tied, and then you get the actual size of the design what you want. Srikakulam is such a village, it's very close to my heart. When I started working with them in 2004, they knew the techniques of Jamdani. Those times in Pondur, they used to weave saris, but very simple saris with small booties. It was paper Jamdani only what they used to weave. They used to put a design paper underneath the warp, which helps them in weaving. So slowly we started working there, and by God's grace, today we have come up with such beautiful and stunning, outstanding designs. And one of the last project which I had worked on, Khadia canvas, which was Raja Ravi Varma's paintings recreated, all were woven here in Srikakulam. And the third village is Venkatgiri, which uses the finest 120 count cotton yarn to weave. So here also they have a jala, and they do a paper Jamdani also. So I have about 6-7 looms here, in which 3 looms use the jala technique of Jamdani and 3 looms use the paper technique of Jamdani here. So I do both the varieties in this 120 count of cotton. And then we come down to the historical Banaras, Varanasi, Kasi village, where Jamdani was in their bloods, and they had forgotten over the ages. Those Nilambri, Shvetambri, Pitambri, it's nothing but Jamdani, which has come from basically Bangladesh to Varanasi. The designs, the weave technique, the muslin, everything has come from there. So over the years, they have forgotten that. First, I started working with them with jacquard weave. And slowly when I came to know that my weavers who are doing those jacquard weaves are masters of Jamdani, I slowly started giving them designs for Jamdani. My weavers in Banaras are so versatile that today if I give them a Kanjivaram design, they will weave that in Jamdani. One year I have woven all the Bangladesh Dhakai Jamdanis, very intricate designs from the museums I had taken out and given to my Banaras weavers to weave. The beauty of my Banaras weavers is, in one warp, they give me different kinds of yarns. I have gone up to 14 shuttles in the weft, 14 different yarns I have used, 14 different textures I have given. And over that, the Jamdani design. I have used organza in the base, and I have given a zari warp, a cotton warp, a muga warp in the border with 3 different wefts. So 3 different warps and again 3 different wefts to give all those textures and those number of colors also.
That's very interesting, because what you're saying is exactly what we were talking about in one of the earlier conversations, that the way Jamdani can be taken to the next generation and taken forward is there is an extensive level of design intervention that is needed to contemporize it. So what I'm hearing is, at least on the Indian side of the story, there isn't a huge amount of experimentation that, is happening. So Gaurang, tell me a little bit about how your entire journey into Jamdanis, indeed into designing, started.
I started working with in my father's store, which was a matching center, at the age of 11. Okay, after school, 4 to 8 p.m., my brother and me used to go there and work there. It was a small matching center in the year 1982, 83, 84, that period I'm telling you. That was the time when handloom sarees was at its peak. Every customer of Hyderabad every lady used to get their sarees to match, because we was never used to weave blouses in the sarees. So this whole thing of sarees started growing in me. Then we had a road widening program in 1998 where our store was 400 SFT, which came down to 200 SFT. So we opened a new store in another area of Hyderabad, a 1300 SFT. Since the space was big, and somehow that was the time I felt we need to get in design fabrics to sell as blouse material. So that I opened that store in January 1999. 2000 year, I went all over India to search for fabrics which have design in it, woven in it. I went to Banaras, I went to Calcutta, I went to South Kanchi, Coimbatore, I went to Lucknow. I went all over to see who weaves fabrics. I found none. No one was into fabrics, everyone was into saris only. So what I did was I bought almost 200-300 saris from everyone. I rolled them as thans and started cutting the saris as blouse material. And some of my customers then started pushing me, you have a good eye, for colors and designs, why don't you start weaving saris? So 2001, I got hold of this weaver. I used to go to all the exhibitions happening, see what new fabric I can get. So I found one weaver sitting in a Crafts Council exhibition of Hyderabad selling Upada saris. I didn't know what is Jacquard, Jamdani, nothing. I know only design and color, that's it. I called him, kal aap mujhe aake miliye mere store mein. He came to me, he got his saris. I said, what is this design technique, weave technique? He said, ये जामदानी है सर, हमारे पास ऐसा जाला बांध के ये डिजाइन लगा के ऐसा काम होता है. I bought some saris from him to sell. I showed it to my customers, no one bought it. They said, why will I buy from you these regular designs when I can buy directly from that fellow? ठीक है. I called the weaver again. I want to give the designs. He said, do you know what type of designs we need or how the drawing happens? We generally need a graph. Do you know how to draw a graph? I said, no, I don't know. He said, okay, then you come to the village, you stay there and learn the whole process of weaving. So about 2-3 weeks, I sat there in the village and learned the whole process. Slowly, I started giving designs. I hired 2-3 design students who used to draw, artists, made them draw, gave them the graphs, and my first pieces started coming in. By 2003, I was running almost 120 looms within 2 years. One old fellow from Banaras had come, sir, हमको कुछ दे दीजिए, काम दे दीजिए. ठीक है, started weaving in jacquard weavings and all. So for 3 or 4 years, he was with me. We had done only jacquard. I was never into jamdani that time. I didn't even know that they used to do jamdanis. His son came in. The weaver became very old. His son came in. And he continued with his father. And then one fine day, when he saw one of my sari, the Upada sari, he said, ये तो हम भी कर सकते हैं jamdani. So I said, okay, कर सकते हैं, तो इसे और fine करेंगे, इसे और detail भी कर सकते हैं हम. So gave him a design of jamdani, and then till today you should see each of my organza jamdanis from Banaras. Each one is a piece of art. But those weavers, I have almost about 130 weavers there now. Not even one weaver will say कि नहीं sir, ये नहीं हो सकता है.
Yeah. Right now, based on all the sensibilities that they've gathered over time, okay, what kind of differences are there in the Jamdani techniques today in the Andhra Pradesh belt between the 3 clusters?
So the Jamdani techniques, number one, for Venkatgiri, only my weavers do Jamdani at present. No one else is doing.
All right.
Everyone has got into jacquard there now. So you won't get Jamdani sari from Venkatgiri.
So the point to be remembered for those who are listening in is, if you're being sold a Jamdani from Venkatgiri, you'll have to check that's probably a jacquard and it's not a Jamdani. So
you will 100%
remember that.
100%. Number one, you will never find a cotton Venkatgiri in the market because no one is weaving cottons now. Everyone is weaving a silk cotton or a silk by silk sari, which the designs also you will see that they are all copies, rip-offs of either a Kanjivaram or an Upada sari.
Understood.
You will not find a traditional Venkatgiri at all.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, then you come to Upara. So at present also, I see the designs which I used to weave are 2 to 3 times bigger now. The same designs are repeated. The colors, I don't know how they come up with their combinations, are very, very jumbled up combinations, you can say. And at present, Upara is almost finished. Almost. Jacquard has come in there. Jacquard has come in there.
You're saying needlework is almost finished, in the sense that
almost finished.
more
Jacquard as a whole village, there's no demand for saris because they are not creating new.
Now moving on to Srikakulam. What about Srikakulam?
Srikakulam, my set of weavers, what they are doing. So Srikakulam is pure Jamdani. Jacquard has not set in. Everyone is doing Jamdani only. It's the same technique of paper Jamdani what they are doing. But again here, there is no design content coming to them. There is no help coming to them to give a direction. So what you see now is all Jamdani only. But the designs are simpler designs.
Fair enough. So in which region in India, based on your travels and experiences, would you say is the craft actually effectively, the Jamdani craft, I'm just restricting this to Jamdani, would you say that the craft is actually effectively being passed on from the older generation to the newer generation and techniques are being preserved?
See, that is in every state. Wherever Jamdani is happening, younger generation is in now because they are seeing in money. Say about in the year 2013-14, I had weavers coming to me कि हमारे बाद कौन करेगा, हमारे बच्चे लोग तो बाहर काम कर रहे हैं. But when over the years, when they saw so much money that we are sitting at home, we are in our village, we are getting work continuously over the year, we are making enough money here, those kids have come back. The next generation has come back. Number one, they are getting work throughout the year. Number two, they are getting paid every month. Number three, technically they are upgrading themselves. So what more do you want?
And that is indeed what we would like to hear also in terms of, you know, the handloom industry generally. On a final note, tell us a little bit about your ambitious, you know, Ravi Varma project that you took on in relation to the 150th birthday of the Mahatma, which is a very elaborate and sort of adventurous Khadi Jamdani project.
Right.
And what was the genesis of it, and you know, how did you go about doing that?
So in the year 2012, I wanted to get something, a small movie or a film made about the Srikakulam village, how the weaving happens and all. So I have a very good friend in Hyderabad, Mr. Lakshman Ele. He's a great artist. And he suggested, I'll make it for you. Main thing was, he got so fascinated by the weaving technique there. He design paper पे draw हुआ है, उसको नीचे देख के जो design दो वो बनाता है. He came back to Hyderabad. He told me, I'll give you 6 of my paintings. He paints Telangana women, beautiful Telangana women. So he gave me 6 of his paintings. He said, Gaurang, recreate these in the saris. First, it got me thinking, is it possible to get those expressions, the folds of the saris, the design, fold mein आधा design आता है, आधा नहीं आता है, that beautiful 3D effect. I gave it to my weavers, 2 sets of weavers I had at that time, 3 saris to 1 weaver, 3 saris to 1 weaver. And within a year, the first piece came out and it was like exactly Mr. Ele must have painted on the sari. It was exact replica. My very good friend Lavina Baldota from Hospet, she had come to Hyderabad. When she saw one of the saris, she fell in love. Art on textile, she gave that name to it. And she bought one of the sari. And from that day, from 2013 to 2015, she was after my life. Let us do something together. I will get in more artists and we'll recreate those and all that. I said yes. But by chance, we couldn't meet and anything. 2015 February, she called me to Bangalore. I have got the right gallery and artist to collaborate with. You come here. She never told me the name. I reached Bangalore. She gave me the address. When I reached, I see it is Ravi Varma Foundation. Okay, she showed me this is what you have to create. I said it's not possible at all. Where Lakshman Ele and where Ravi Varma, look at the intricacy, the facial expressions, the detailing in it. Impossible. Plus, she said it has to be Khadi. We will release it in 2019, October 2. It is Gandhiji's birth anniversary. It has to be the purest form of Khadi. It has to be all, since it's Gandhiji, everything natural, it has to be only natural dyes. Now, where will I get those shades of skin tones and pinks and lemon yellows and lemon greens and those kind of colors in natural dyes? I said, okay, let us start. I took pictures. We selected about 52, 53 paintings, which were not common paintings, which were the most intricate one also at the same time. This is what we will start working with. It took me 2015, 2016, exactly more than 1.5 years to do the planning only. So for each painting, we had to create a shade card. So for 52, 53 paintings, the whole colors we had to create was 600 colors. Natural dye. Who will do that for me now? Natural dye, you get only basic 5 or 6 colors. I needed color variations. And by chance, I was working in Ajrakpur for my Neil collection, Indigo collection. I was printing in Ajrakpur, in Junaid Bhai. He's a national award winner. He was printing for me. And we were sitting and just discussing what all projects we are working on. I told him this is what. He said, give me those yarns. So 200 kgs of yarn. Give me that yarn. And we had to dye only about 500 to 750 grams of silk for each color. Give me that yarn. Give me 2 of your assistants for next 1 year. I will dye those natural colors. All 600 I will dye and give you. So 2017 beginning, we finished dyeing the whole thing. Now, the part of weaving comes in. So, like I explained to you before, warp weft will eat away my extra weft color. I wanted that Paithani Jamdani to happen here. In Paithan, though, they won't do this because it's not possible for them to do in Khadi especially. And we wanted to do this 200 to 50 count Khadi, the finest of them. It's not possible. So it was only Srikakulam village which was going to do this. Okay, by chance, 3 years before this I'm talking now, 2 ladies came to us. Srikakulam mein, ki sir, we are from not weaving community. We sell vegetables on the road. One of them works in the fields. But we have seen that weavers who work for you, everyone has made good money. They get work throughout the year. Can you teach us weaving so that we can work for you and you can give us monthly salary? We'll make a continuous steady income we will have. So my master weaver said, okay, let me teach. He called me. I said, okay, take him and teach. Next day, 40 women came. Those 2 got 38 more. We all work in the fields or this thing, so please teach us. So we created a facility on my weaver's house. On the terrace, we created about 20 looms there. Whole facility is there. He started teaching them. So I called my weaver and told him, since years I'm telling you, I want to do those Paithani Jamdanis which I've seen in Calico Museum. So you start teaching them the Paithani technique only now. Don't teach them your warp weft and extra weft. And by the time my Ravi Varma project started, these women had woven one of one sari of mine. So they were so eager and so fast in learning. They had that fire in them. So within a year, my most very beautiful Paithani designs saris came in. So it was all by God's grace, everything fell into place. My women weavers were ready with the Paithani technique Jamdani, and my Ravi Varma project was ready to roll for weaving. So each sari, the whole pallu, took us about 6 months to a year to weave. And about 6 to 7 pieces are very, very intricate, which have taken about a year and a half to weave. So 150 count khadi, all natural dye, the whole design was natural dye, the Jamdani technique, the yarns were natural dye. And every 15 to 20 days, either me or my assistant used to fly to Srikakulam to give. So by the time we go, they will finish about an inch or so, a half inch or something. And then the next half inch, we used to put the colors there, the yarn to match. Because 600 colors and to get the right shade, because we had like 20 lemon greens, about 30 to 40 shades of blues to give the sky effect. So every step we had to help them that in the colors and matching and all. Plus checking the intricacy if they are doing the right thing or not. So, and 2019, 2nd October, we could finish only 33 saris. And last year, we came up with one panel, which was Sita Bhumi Pravesh. The last one which we did. We still have to do 20 more saris, which we will do it again now. So it was a very beautiful project, and which I wanted to showcase to the museums worldwide, to the people worldwide that see what India heritage is, and still we have people who can do this kind of job. Everyone talks, every book talks only about what used to happen. And I want to show what is happening right now. This is the most beautiful textile of the whole world we have. The whole means we have so many techniques, so many designs, so many colors, so many textures. Nowhere in the world you'll get to see this.
On that wonderful and very, very positive note, thank you very much
Thank you.
for sharing your time and for sharing your stories with us. I think we needed to hear this because it's easy to talk about the glories of the bygone era, but it's far more important for each one of us, whether as buyers, whether as whoever we are all stakeholders in the ecosystem, and each of us have to play our part as responsible stakeholders to
Yes.
ensure that that ecosystem is thriving in the future. So thank you very much, Gaurang.
Thank
This
you.
was such a pleasure.
Thank you.